Alright, so I recently made a video that was mildly political. It did talk about political concepts, but mostly in the socioeconomic aspect of things. Anyhow, long story short, there was a lot of engagement, which was pretty awesome, but I feel like a lot of people missed the whole point. I feel like actually a lot of people didn't even bother to listen to the whole video. They watched about 2 to 3 minutes of it, didn't like what I was saying, and then started commenting stuff about how dumb I am and I'm a moron and all this. Oh, you can tell when somebody doesn't know what they're talking about, blah, blah, blah. Oh, this is the problem with social media. Everybody can get their own voice. And it's like, well, one, thank you for listening to the whole video so you can understand what the point of the video was, what I was trying to make. So thanks for that. Somehow I'm the idiot, but you can't even take 10 minutes to get to the end of the video. I even put in the title, hear me out. You clearly didn't bother to hear me out. And two, I kind of know what I'm talking about, all right? You get these people coming on here that want to run their mouth behind a keyboard acting like I don't know what I'm talking about, but do they offer any kind of rebuttal or anything? Nope. They just, oh, you're an idiot. Oh, I can tell you don't know what you're talking about. But they offer nothing. But I don't know what I'm talking about. You know, I only listen to political commentary 8 hours a day, 5 days a week while I'm at work for about the past 2.5, 3 years. But sure, I have no idea what I'm talking about, right? Anyways, that's for all you. But what I did want to talk about was I did have one comment that actually was pretty productive. It was somebody who basically asked for an open dialogue, and they said a debate, but we can't really debate. Debates are supposed to be happening in real time, and you know, one person says something and then the other person says what they think to counter it or whatever. We can't do that here, but I can still have a discussion with you. So, without any further ado, let's get into it. All right, so I'm not going to put who the person was. Obviously, their name would be right above this first comment. I'll leave a little privacy. Obviously, this comment is on my video, so I mean, there's that. They're not fully protected, but I'm not going to explicitly call them out in this video. I'm just going to kind of keep it anonymous. But anyways, to start, it says, "It's troubling to listen to you." Now, right out the gate, I see that it's troubling to listen to me, and it's like, what's so troubling? I wasn't saying anything like overly hateful. You know what I mean? It's not like I was being like Nazi level of extreme or anything. I was saying things based on how they are. So if anything I said sounded troubling, that's society. I guess society's just troubling. Like, don't take it out on me. It's just how things are. Things need to change then. Also, I feel like even though this person asked for a debate and they put a lengthy comment and there's a lot to cover, I feel like you didn't listen to the whole video just like everyone else didn't. Because if you did, you would have saw what I was trying to get at. I mean, basically I made my video like a paper. You want to start broad and work your way into your thesis. I started very broad and I was bringing it in. You never got to my thesis. So you don't even know what my video was about. And you're calling me troubling? Now it goes on to say, "A couple things I will point out, and I hope you will engage in a healthy debate." First off, it's not a couple things. This person ended up putting, they put 6 numbered things, but then there's at least 3 more items that they've missed putting a number. So we got 9 things to talk about, plus this intro, so that's 10 things. But yes, I am engaging in a healthy debate by making this video to respond to you. As I already said in the preamble, this isn't a real debate, but you get the idea. Anyways, I'll start with some facts first to give perspective. 1, I am an American living in Canada. I'm not really sure what that's supposed to tell me or mean. Like, I'm an American living in Canada, okay? Cool? I mean, I guess the only thing I can really take from that is that's pretty awesome that my video made it outside the country. Like, people outside of the country are viewing my content. Obviously, that happens. The internet is a worldwide place. But for me, with a small channel, you know, I don't really expect that to happen. I think it's going to stay within my area, possibly even just my state. I don't expect it to actually hit global. So for you to be seeing this in Canada, that's pretty cool. But otherwise, I guess the point you're trying to say is that I'm from Canada. So I'm an outside perspective on American politics. But you claim you are an American. So I guess it really depends on how long you've been living in Canada. Like, did you just move up there a month ago? Have you been there for 10 years? Because depending on that answer, depends on how current you are with American politics, which means your input may be kind of irrelevant / wrong. Because if you're not actually living here anymore and living with the socioeconomic status of our country and all that, You're not going to really know. You'll have a general idea. Like, I have a general idea that Trudeau sucks, but I don't really know because I don't live in Canada. So, you know what I mean? So, how long have you been there, for starters? Because then that tells me how much this comment really holds weight. I mean, if you moved up to last week, then, oh, okay. But if you've been there for 25 years now, then you're a Canadian, okay? You can say you're American all you want. You're a Canadian. Like, and your opinion kind of is invalid. Okay, now, line item number 2 is, we are of opposing views. Really? You don't say. I would have never guessed that. You're coming on my video, which is conservative, Republican, right-wing based, and you're leaving a big, lengthy comment and want to have a debate. I thought we had the same exact ideas. Come on. Not trying to be rude, but that's, duh, we have opposing views. And now introductory point, I guess, number 3, is Democrats are not liberals. They are Democratic Republicans, right of center, with the openness of left-wing politics. All right, that line item really makes me think you've been in Canada for a while now, which almost nullifies your whole entire argument here, because first off, you spelled center with R-E. That's not an American way to spell it. We would do E-R. R-E is like the English way, you know. People in Britain would do that, which means probably people in Canada would. So if you're writing that way, you can't be living, you have to have been living there for a while. But anyways, it also makes me think that maybe you haven't been here for a while because, are you confusing Canadian politics with American? Because Democrats are not Democratic Republicans that are right of center. Are you serious right now? Dems are libs. The Democratic Party is extremely lib. You mean to tell me Gavin Newsom is right of center? Or AOC and this whole squad are right of center? Or any other prolific Democrat, Nancy Pelosi's right of center? Absolutely not. I mean, these people, the Democrats and the leftists are so insane. Like I've said before with my analogy for Elon Musk, how he used to be sitting right here. Here's center, here's him, or whichever way it needs to be to show the left. You know, let's just pretend, because I don't know which way this is going to translate into my video. But this is center line. This is where Elon was. And then center line's just gone way off for leftists and gone absolutely insane. And he's in the same spot, but now he's slightly right. And yet, even though he hasn't changed at all, these leftists are calling him an extreme right-wing MAGA and stuff like they do to everybody else. Oh, he's an extreme right-wing person. Even though he hasn't moved at all. Everything about him's exactly the same, but now he's a super right-wing person. Because the Democrats and the left have gone so psychotically left that they're screwing up the scale. I mean, before the scale was this, end to end of the field of view here in my video, and now it's like, here's the left way out here. You can't even see the end anymore. But yeah, that is the Democrats. They're not right of center. Are you serious? They hate right-wing people, no matter how mildly right you are. I mean, geez, Joe Rogan has, technically, he is a lib, but he's more, you know, a conservative liberal. He has some conservative views and some liberal views. But because he's got those conservative views, all the leftists and the liberals and stuff act like he's just some far right-wing extremist, and they don't like him anymore. And it's like, why? Because he believes in, you know, that abortion is killing a baby, but you guys don't want to admit that? So all of a sudden he's an extreme MAGA right-winger? The Democrats are leftist. I don't know where you get that they're right of center and all this open to left-wing ideas. They're not open to the ideas. They actively, overly embrace them. I mean, look at Kamala recently with Pride Month, going to all these gay events and stuff, and we're so happy to have you, hugging all these drag queens and stuff. They viciously embrace it, not just open to it, like, oh, okay, I guess this is a thing. No, this better be a thing. I mean, this is kind of common knowledge. I don't even know where you're coming off with this, saying that they're right of center and they're Democratic Republicans. No, maybe on paper, but that is not how things are going at all in practice. Or maybe that's how it is in Canada. It sure isn't like that here in the United States, though. All right, so now we get into the actual talking points. So you say, now let's get a couple things. Now let's get a couple things to discuss, okay? Like Trump's lies. Okay, that's apparently a full sentence. I don't have enough time to discuss roughly 35,000 of them, so I'll stick to the big ones. You know, it's actually quite frustrating to always hear people talk about how Trump lies all the time and all this. For the most part, Trump has been the absolute most honest, open politician that we've had, like, I don't want to say ever, but in a very long time. Okay, I mean, he says that how it is. That's half the reason why the libs and the left don't like him. He doesn't have a filter. You know, he just says whatever he's thinking. Like in his debates in 2016 with Hillary. Oh, we can't have somebody with a temperament like Trump running the country. And then he just, without thinking, because you'd be in jail.
It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Yeah. Because you'd be in jail.
Secretary Clinton.
The guy doesn't have a filter. He just says whatever's in his mind. In order to be lying all the time means you have to have a filter. You're filtering the truth and editing it in real time in your head. That's not him. He just talks. He just says it, pops up, boop. The only way you can boop like that is you're telling the truth. And that's what he's doing all the time. The problem is nowadays the leftists and such don't like hearing the truth because they live in a world that's all about feelings. Oh, what Trump said hurt my feelings. He's a jerk.
We choose truth over facts.
Well, it's the truth. So if you don't like it, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, it is what it is. You can't change something that's real. If you don't like that 1 + 1 is 2 because somehow that's racist, well, I don't know what to tell you. That is what it is. I have one finger here, one finger here. I'm holding up 2 fingers. So, yeah, but we also want to always talk about his lies. Oh, Trump lies all the time. Okay, what about Biden? Biden has been an absolute liar his whole entire political career. Literally. I mean, back in the late 80s when he tried to run for president, when the media wasn't covering for him, there was a whole entire segment on how, you know, he lied about his college experience and everything. Said that he graduated top of his class, has 3 degrees, something else was said, and ended up being debunked that he was in the bottom of his class. I think he was like 9th from last. He has 1 degree, and whatever the other thing was found to be bunk as well. And he's been like this always.
Senator Joseph Biden may have more explaining to do.
The new questions stem from taped remarks of Biden during an April campaign appearance in New Hampshire.
I went to law school on a full academic scholarship, the only one in my class to have a full academic scholarship. Went back to law school and in fact ended up in the top half of my class. I was the outstanding student in the political science department at the end of my year. I graduated with 3 degrees from undergraduate school and 165 credits, only needed 123 credits.
Biden now concedes he did not graduate in the top half of his law school class, that he does not have 3 degrees from college, and that he was not named outstanding political science student in college.
Newsweek says Biden actually went to school on a half scholarship, ended up near the bottom of his class, and won only 1 degree, not 3.
Joe Biden ranked 76th in a class of 85 at the University of Syracuse Law School. I mean, this guy comes off this whole thing as a flyweight.
Now Biden says Newsweek is right. His memory had failed him.
Even to this day, he's still constantly lying. Actually, now his lies are more gaslighting. He's not really lying. He's just pretending things. So, but that's still like lying. You're not telling the truth. You're telling people what you want them to hear, which basically is lying. Like his nonsense about the jobs that he's had. We've had so many jobs. 15 million jobs created. No. That's a gaslight. You've had a lot of jobs that were recovered from the people that were out of work because of stay-at-home orders due to COVID. That's not creating a job. That's people just going back to work. But you include that into your lie, so then people are like, oh, wow, he's doing good. A brain-dead guy that can't even remember what his own name is, he's good at making jobs. But the guy that's been a lifelong businessman, he must have no idea how to make jobs, right? Come on, let's be real. But yeah, so I'm sick and tired of hearing this all the time about Trump's lies. Biden doesn't know what truth is, okay? Geez, Trump even has an app called Truth Social. Biden doesn't know what truth is. Even his people running his accounts don't know how to tell the truth ever. They lie for him as well. Him and his whole administration is all about lying. Lie. But here we go, Trump's lies. No, it's not a lie what Trump says. It's just you don't like to hear it because it doesn't fit a narrative that you want to believe. All right, so major lie number 1 that you wanted to talk about is you said, Trump claims Obama isn't American but African. Do you seriously think your government intelligence agencies couldn't identify false documents? But Trump could. Ha ha, he, I'm cry laughing. Okay, so that example isn't a lie, okay? That is an allegation. There's a difference between an allegation and a lie. A lie is when you put something out there for reality acceptance, but it's not the truth. An allegation is you have thoughts on something and you're just expressing what you think those thoughts are. Whether they're true or not is to be found out. basically, in the world of science, an allegation is the same thing as a hypothesis. Then you go and test it, and you can turn it into a theory. And then if you can really prove it, then it becomes a law. Well, that's what those claims were, that Obama wasn't born, that Barry wasn't born in the United States. They're just allegations. It's just like saying that Michelle is actually Big Mike, even though there's a lot of proof nowadays. But again, it's just an allegation. People aren't saying that she's actually a guy. They're just claiming she's a guy. Until there's actual proof, I guess, of her naked or something weird. I don't know. But people will just keep saying that. So that's not really a lie. Second off, though, I mean, he does kind of have a point with questioning him. One, he does have a dad. I mean, he does have a dad. His dad is from Africa, still lives in Africa and everything. So there's that. Second thing is, it took Obama forever to produce his birth certificate. I mean, if you have nothing to hide, why don't you just pull it out and shut everyone up right away? That's what I'd do. I'm from here, look. I'll go home and get it in an hour. I'll make a live video on Instagram or something. Boom, here it is. I was born in blah, blah, blah. 3, the claims are always that he was born in Hawaii. It's like, wow, well, okay, Hawaii is a state, but, like, it almost feels fake because it's like, it's not a continuous state. You know what I mean? It's weird. It's like, okay, you're barely an American. You're Hawaiian. Like, you know what I mean? Yes, it's a state, but it's like, I don't know how to explain it. It's in the middle of the ocean way the heck over here. It doesn't feel like a real state. People go there for vacation. Even though it's still the United States, you go there for vacation because it's something cool and different. So there's that. Like, oh, you're pulling some... It's not like you said, I'm from Kansas. That's like, okay, yeah, you're super American. No, it's, oh, I'm from Hawaii. Oh, okay. When were you born? 1947, when Hawaii wasn't a state yet? I don't know when he was actually born. I'm just trying to make a joke. But anyways, and yeah. And then when he finally does produce it, it was after so much time where a fake one could have been doctored up for him. And now, oh, see, Trump, this is my birth certificate. Yeah, after 2.5 years. Could have easily had many of them made up fakely. And, yeah, you said you think your own government couldn't recognize... Our own government would be colluding with them anyways. Oh, you're actually born in Africa? That's okay. We'll pull some strings to make it so that way then you can be the president still. No one has to know. I mean, come on. You act like our government is honest. They're not. And recently it's been heavily shown that they're not. With the whole situation with Snowden and the NSA stuff that he revealed and all this crap with COVID recently and everything, like... We know our government is very unhonest and pushes an agenda and hopes that we're just dumb and believe it. All right, and then your major point number 2 is talking about 2015, before the election. You said, if I don't win, it was stolen. No proof then, and then no proof again in 2020. Yeah, I mean, I feel like you're missing a lot for your sentences, but let's just get into this. So I can't speak too much for 2016 because I wasn't really following politics yet then. I really started probably around 2018, 2019. 2016, I was mildly following, like I was interested in Trump actually winning because I thought it would be cool, and I knew Hillary was going to be a trash option, so good thing she lost, which I'm like, well, what difference does it make? We got Biden anyways, who's just as terrible. But anyways, as far as 2020, you know, you say there's no proof of the election being rigged or stolen or anything, but yeah, there is. It's just proof that, of course, Democrats and leftists and all that don't want to acknowledge. Kind of like how... You know, like that chart they show all the time with the curve, and then all of a sudden, shoots way up and beats the Republicans at the last minute. You know, all these big ballot dumps that happened at like 3 a.m. out of nowhere. You know, it's just, there's a lot that's suspicious. And then, you know, even the voter turnout, you're going to tell me that Biden got 81 million votes and Trump did good too. He got what, 76 million? But you're going to tell me Biden got 81 million? And yet, anytime he holds a rally, there's 5 people there. Trump can sell out stadiums left and right, no problem. Or, I guess it's not sell out, it's free, right? So he can fill up a stadium. Biden's lucky if he can get 3 senior citizens there on a dead body. But you're telling me 81 million people support that loser? Like, there's a lot of things that are just extremely suspicious. You know, Trump was also very good in his position as president, whether you want to acknowledge that or not. And obviously very popular. Have you ever seen a Biden hat? Have you ever seen a Biden shirt? No, I don't even see Biden bumper stickers. geez, at least you used to see the Hillary ones and you'd see Bernie ones. You never see a Biden bumper sticker. But, you know, he won. He's super popular. 81 million votes, guys. Like, that's what the claims are for, that it was rigged. And it very much was rigged, probably. I mean, there's even been those people recently, 4 people from where, I don't know, I don't remember what state it was, but there was 4 people that had to do with the election process, and they admitted, or they're found guilty or whatever, of tampering with ballots, that they were putting a Democratic bias. So it's starting to slowly come out. And then they had those machines too, the voting machines that could be easily tampered with and rigged and all this, which I think there was actually some proof that some of them were rigged. Wasn't one of them doing something ridiculous? Like for every 1 Republican ballot, it was given 2 Democrat or something ridiculous. And then there's obviously all the votes that were from dead people. That was exposed like right away. But for some reason, it was able to just slide under the radar. No one did anything about it. Oh, dead people are voting. Yeah, that's suspicious, but okay, we'll just let it happen. So, yeah, just like now, if he loses in November, like, we're gonna know that it's rigged. Nobody supports this idiot. Democrats are jumping ship to support Trump. Republicans obviously are massively behind Trump. Like, everyone's behind him except for the extreme fringe people, like 20% of the population. So if 80% of the people are voting Trump and 20% of the ones left supporting him because they don't have a brain and can't think and realize, wow, the country sucks under this loser. And then if he wins, it's like, how? How did 20% beat 80%? You know, Trump this time is probably easily going to break 100 million votes. Easily. You know, you want to brag about 81 million all the time. He's easily going to break 100 million. And if things go honestly, then Biden will probably only get like 40 million. But somehow, Trump will have 100 million, and this loser will probably be like 110 million. And they'll be like, okay, where's the 110 million people that are supporting this? Where? So, yeah, that's why there's claims, and that's why there will be claims if he loses. All right, now your next point. This is one of the ones that I say you didn't number, but it's a different point, so it should have been numbered. But anyways, this is COVID. He lied. He lied for months. Then came lights and bleach. First off, I don't know what you're talking about when you say lights there. What was lights? I understand what you're saying about bleach. We'll get to that in a minute. But lights, then came lights and bleach. What? I don't know. It mustn't be that big of a talking point because I have no idea what you're talking about. As far as COVID with lies, though, what are you talking about lying? I don't think he never denied it. It's not like he was denying it existed. I mean, he came up with Operation Warp Speed to get the vaccine going as fast as possible. Like, there was an acknowledgement of it. He did work closely with Fauci. I don't know what the lies were. Was it because he said things that were real, but you guys didn't want to acknowledge? Like how he said it wasn't, he might have said, I don't know offhand, but he might have said it wasn't that serious, that it's basically like a cold, which, yeah, it is. I mean, I've had COVID 5 times. It just feels like it feels like allergies and a cold at the same time. All right, I gotta cut myself off right here because YouTube wanted to pull some nonsense and take down my original video because they said I was making misinformation claims about COVID and the vaccines and all that. So even though everything I was saying has been proven and kind of common knowledge and anybody can research it, but yeah, so I'm gonna have to chop out this entire section that I originally had in here, and then I'm gonna make a new section with actual proof of what I said. So I guess if you still have a problem with it, YouTube, then I don't know what's your problem, because you're not arguing with me at this point. You're arguing with the CDC, and I have another source from Mayo Clinic. I know they're not the highest quality source to be going after, but it's not my opinions. I'm reading what someone else has published and put out there. So yeah, let's get into that. Okay, YouTube, let me throw something out there. As you can see, this is the CDC website. It's got the logo in the corner. It's even up at the top, cdc.gov. It's got the lock, meaning that it's a secure website because it's a governmental website. So, let's see what this has to say with no cuts. I'm just going to scroll, and you will see that we're on the same exact page. Nothing's changed yet. Yes, this is the section I'm looking for. Vaccine effectiveness and safety. So, let's see, what does the CDC have to tell us about the effectiveness and safety? It says, no clinical trial immunogenicity data on an additional dose of the updated COVID-19 vaccines exists. However, the initial dose elicits a robust neutralizing antibody response and provides protection against JN.1 and other circulating variants. 1213. Early vaccine effectiveness, VE, estimates demonstrate that updated COVID-19 vaccination provided increased protection against symptomatic SARS-CoV-2 infection and COVID-19 associated emergency department and urgent care visits and hospitalization compared with receipt of no updated vaccine dose 1214. Although these early VE estimates show no substantial warning, based on data on effectiveness of original and bivalent COVID-19 vaccines, waning of vaccine conferred immunity is expected. Effectiveness of an additional dose in older adults has been demonstrated for previously recommended additional or original COVID-19 vaccine doses 15 among adults aged 50 and older who were eligible to receive a second original monovalent mRNA COVID-19 vaccine booster dose VE against COVID-19 associated emergency department and urgent care encounters during the COVID Omicron BA blah blah blah. Period greater than 120 days after the third dose was 32% effective, but it increased to 66% after a greater period than 7 days after the fourth dose. VE against COVID-19 associated hospitalization for more than 120 days after the third dose was 55%, but increased to 80 after another 7 days after the fourth dose. In addition, in a large cohort of nursing home residents during circulation of SARS-CoV-2 Omicron subvariants, receipt of a second original monovalent mRNA COVID-19 booster dose for less than 60 days earlier was 74% effective against severe COVID-19 related outcomes, and 90% effective against death, compared with receipt of a single booster dose. Let's see, is there any other good stats to talk about in this portion? Down here it says a recent VE study indicated that the bivalent COVID-19 vaccine was 47% effective in preventing COVID-19 related thromboembolic events, ischemic stroke, myocardial infarction, and deep vein thrombosis among persons aged greater than 65 years. So take for that what you will, YouTube, because apparently I was lying when I said that it wasn't 100% effective. I didn't see any hundreds in this article straight up from the CDC, so was I spreading misinformation? I guess so, right? One thing else I'd like to throw out there, YouTube, in, I don't know, non-support of the COVID vaccines is this. From UCLAhealth.org, it says, what General Colin Powell's death from COVID-19 complications says about vaccines and immunity. So the article says, Colin Powell's death on August 18th, which was 2021, from complications of COVID-19 shocked the nation, not only because the former U.S. Secretary of State had been such a stalwart figure in American politics, but because he'd been fully vaccinated against the coronavirus. Yeah, they go on to say that he had an ongoing battle with blood cancer and had multiple myeloma, but at the end of the day, COVID's what got him, despite having all these vaccines and boosters in him. What does it say down here? One is older age. For older folks, their immune systems aren't quite as robust as they used to be, and they're at an increased risk for severe infections, and it's a bit harder for their immune systems to mount a response to the vaccines, which is why the CDC and FDA had recommended booster vaccines, really seen as third doses for older folks. Colin Powell also had multiple myeloma. That's a blood cancer that affects your immune cells. So, okay, they're going to try to say that, but still, at the end of the day, his actual death was from COVID, even though he was fully boosted and vaccinated and all that. So, just throwing that out there. All right, YouTube, the other thing I think you had a problem with was because I said that the masks weren't really effective unless you had an N95, okay? I said that, but you seem to still have had a problem with it. So, let me start with this from the Mayo Clinic. Don't know how much you respect that. I think Mayo Clinic is kind of like the Wikipedia of medical advice, but, you know, it's still a source that's not me. So let's see what they have to say. How well do face masks protect against COVID-19? Face masks, can they help slow the spread of the virus that causes coronavirus? Yes, when used with measures such as getting vaccinated, hand washing, and physical distancing. Wearing a mask slows how quickly the virus that causes COVID spreads. So right out the gate, it sounds like a mask alone doesn't do the trick. There's a lot that you gotta do in conjunction with the mask. Okay, because I'm sure if I said that myself, that would be a problem, right? Let's see, what does this say right here? Respirators such as non-surgical N95s give the most protection. KN95s and medical masks provide the next highest level of protection. Cloth masks provide less protection. The CDC says that surgical N95 masks should be reserved for healthcare professionals. It's funny, because when I said that, YouTube said I was spreading misinformation. I wonder if they'll believe Mayo Clinic, or if you'll still say that I'm somehow lying. So, don't know what the lies were that you're trying to reference, but I don't think he ever really lied about COVID. He acknowledged it was existent and worked on making the vaccine stuff. Oh, also, maybe it's the aspect that he called it the China virus. Did you not like that? I mean, you can claim that it sounds racist, but it's true. He called it the China virus because it came from Wuhan, China.
Calling this the Chinese virus. There are reports of dozens of incidents of bias against Chinese Americans in this country. Your own aide, Secretary Azar, says he does not use this term. He says ethnicity does not cause the virus. Why do you keep using this? A lot of people say it's racist.
It's not racist at all. No, not at all. It comes from China. That's why. It comes from China. I want to be accurate.
I mean, if it came from Saudi Arabia, he'd call it the Saudi virus. I mean, he was just calling it based on where it was from. So is that a lie somehow? Oh, he was calling it the China virus because it came from China, but I didn't like that. So I'm going to say that he was lying. I don't understand. Now, at the end of your comment, again, you said the lights. I don't know what the heck you're talking about there. But the bleach. The bleach. Oh, this is everyone's favorite line. Oh, he told us to inject bleach. He didn't tell anybody to inject bleach. Basically, what that line, command, whatever, comes from was he was just kind of like thinking out loud one time. You know, he was thinking about how Lysol wipes, you can wipe a counter and it kills COVID. So if there's COVID on your counter, Lysol wipe, boom, dead. And he was just thinking, man, if we can have a wipe that can clean a surface like that and COVID's wiped out, there's got to be something that we can come up with that works just like that. And then you get a shot, boom, and now it's killed. And then COVID would basically be immediately wiped out, because once everybody got that shot, anybody who was infected, the virus is killed, and then once it's killed, they can't spread around, so now it's just wiped out. Like, that's what he was kind of saying. He wasn't saying, oh, hey, I decree that everybody should go home and inject bleach into yourselves. We all know that that's a terrible idea, and if anybody did do that, they're an absolute moron.
A question that probably some of you are thinking of if you're totally into that world, which I find to be very interesting. So, supposing we hit the body with a tremendous, whether it's ultraviolet or just very powerful light, and I think you said that hasn't been checked, but you're going to test it. And then I said, supposing you brought the light inside the body, which you can do either through the skin or in some other way. And I think you said you're going to test that too. Sounds interesting. Right, and then I see the disinfectant, where it knocks it out in a minute. 1 minute, and is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside or almost a cleaning? Because you see it gets on the lungs and it does a tremendous number on the lungs, so it'd be interesting to check that. So that you're going to have to use medical doctors with, but it sounds interesting to me. So we'll see. But the whole concept of the light, the way it kills it in 1 minute, that's pretty powerful.
And obviously, he wasn't saying that. I don't even think he even said that. I don't think those words, oh, we should inject bleach in ourselves, even came out. He was just thinking out loud, and then, of course, the media interprets it, oh, he was talking about Lysol wipes and basically said we should try to inject that into ourselves. And then it turned into, you know, more alterations, and then next thing you know, everyone was saying, oh, he says we should put bleach in our bodies. No, he fucking didn't. All right, line item number 4, which actually the last line item batch was 1 and 2, so that COVID one should have been 3. I guess you just forgot to put the number, but you remembered because you put the 4. So this is silly. But anyways, number 4 says, Stormy, dying laughing face. Yes, it was Stormy. Where's Melania, by the way? All right, let's start with your bit about Melania. What are you trying to say? Where's Melania, by the way? Melania is always right there with him all the time. Wherever he goes, she's there with him like a good supportive wife. Half the time he's got some of his kids with him too. Don Jr. and Eric are always somewhere nearby as well. Obviously, Laura's always nearby. I mean, that's not one of his kids, it's his daughter-in-law. But she's always nearby as well because she does political commentary and such. So she's there mostly because she's working. But yeah, what are you talking about? Where's Melania? This question makes me think like she hasn't been seen with him in a long time. And it's like, ooh, are they estranged? Are they going through a divorce? Like, she's right there all the time. What is this question? I don't understand. Anyways, as far as the rest of it goes, you're talking about Stormy. Stormy. It was Stormy. What does that mean? It was Stormy. What is it? What? I don't know if this is supposed to be like a play on words, like you're just making a joke, like, ooh, it was stormy. Thunderstorms, like somebody writing a story or something, and they're saying, oh, it was a stormy night, or what you're trying to get at. But I understand the whole Stormy situation, so let's talk about this now. First off, the whole Stormy situation is, it's been bunked, okay? First off, Stormy herself came out with a signed letter that said, nothing happened between me and Trump. There is no hush money because there is nothing to hush me about. I didn't do anything with the guy. All right, I have it up in that corner, but just to make it a little more clear, I said, official statement of Stormy Daniels, January 30th, 2018. Okay, so it's a little bit older, but it's still valid. It was even entered into the court hearing. It says, to whom it may concern. Over the past few weeks, I have been asked countless times to comment on reports of an alleged sexual relationship I had with Donald Trump many, many, many years ago. The fact of the matter is that each party to this alleged affair denied its existence in 2006, 2011, 2016, and 2017, and now again in 2018. I am not denying this affair because I was paid hush money, as has been reported in overseas-owned tabloids. I am denying this affair because it never happened. I will have no further comment on this matter. Please feel free to check me out on Instagram at the Stormy Daniels. Thank you, Stormy Daniels. Stormy Daniels. Yeah, I know. She later went on and tried to come up with all these claims because, you know, it worked for the left's narrative and they probably pressured her into saying stuff, but it never happened. Also, even if it did happen and there was hush money with like rich, famous, influential people happens all the time for everything, okay? Normally, this isn't a crime. It's just something you do. You don't want things to leak out there, so, hey, I'll give you some money. Please don't say anything. Okay, and that's the deal. But because the Democrats are trying so hard to get Trump for something, they had to pull this out. Oh, maybe we can try to get him with Stormy. Oh, you paid hush money. Oh. And then even when you look at the truth of it, he didn't even pay hush money to her directly. He paid hush money, if he did. It was to his lawyer. So it was lawyer fees, and then his lawyer went and paid it to her. So if anything, his lawyer paid Stormy a hush money with his own personal money from doing a job for Trump. So, you know, Trump didn't even do it. His lawyer did, if this even truly happened. So, don't know what you're trying to get at here. One, Melania, she's always there. And two, the whole Stormy situation has been bunked. Like, it's nonsense. It's just another allegation made up to try to defame him and make his name bad and all this. Didn't happen. And Stormy herself admitted this in the dang letter. So what are you trying to get at now? Just keep that revived? Well, just like the whole Russia wants Trump, right? Even though Vladimir Putin said, I would prefer Biden.
Кто лучше, Байден или Трамп?
Байден. Он человек более опытный, он прогнозируемый, он политик старой формации.
Over Trump, but you know, Russia's going to be influencing the election, right? And why does Russia want Biden? Because Biden's weak. Putin can get away with doing what he's doing with Ukraine and all that because Biden is weak and doesn't do anything. Trump gets in there, that stuff's going to end like this. Like he says, day one. And you know it. It'll be done day one. He ain't just saying that. It's the reality. Where Biden's a loser, doesn't even know how to speak, he can't end a conflict. So, of course, Putin wants him in there. But, you know, Putin was Russian interference, right? That's probably part of part of this as well. Stormy's real. Russian interference is real. Also, that's the other thing with the Russian interference. Hillary has come forward with, or not come forward, but it's been proven that Hillary actually made that crap up during the 2016 election run. But sure, let's keep going with it. Let's keep trying to act like it's the reality that he was really colluding with Russia. Yep, makes sense. All right, I guess what should be number 5 says convicted of fraud several times. All right, yes, he was convicted of fraud, what was it, 32 times, 39 times? I forget the amount of counts. It's just in the 30s. But again, this is all whole load of horse manure. This was another last-ditch attempt at the Democrats to try to get something on Trump. Everything else that they were trying kept failing. Stormy Daniels failed. John Carroll, whatever her name is, failed. The documents that he had, the classified documents that he had in his home, that failed. Everything they kept trying kept failing. So this was like their last-ditch effort, which Alan Bragg came forward with, I'm going to get Trump convicted. And I think, who was the lady? Ketanji James or something, whatever her name is. She was out to try to get Trump. That's all they want to do. I want to get this position just so I can pursue Trump. I don't care about actually upholding the law and doing my job actually. I want to just go after him. He's a bad guy. So, yeah, these fraud charges that he has are crap. First off, normally, this type of conviction that he does have would have only been a misdemeanor. But they went and changed the law so that then they could make it a fraud. I mean, a crime, a federal crime this time. So it would be a felony. Second, they overly exaggerated the extent of the crime. They counted every single step of the way as a crime. That's why it ended up being 30-something. Normally, it would just almost be like a RICO, and it would just be all-inclusive as one crime for anybody else. But for Trump, they're going to count each step of the way. Well, first you made a phone call, then your secretary went and relayed the message to this person, so there's 3 crimes. Then a paper was written, which then you signed, and then, every single step of the way, they counted it as its own fraud, which is just nonsense. The other thing is, I think this whole trial, I don't know for certain, I didn't follow it because I just thought it was a load of horse crap and I wasn't interested in listening to this garbage. I figured I'd find out the results afterwards, which we all know. But if I'm not mistaken, this was based on his valuation of his properties, right? Like he claimed Mar-a-Lago was worth X million amount of dollars, and then the bank comes along and they say, nah, it's only this. Like he says it's $25 million or something, and the bank comes along and says, nah, it's only $4 million. And so because he was way over, they're trying to claim that he's falsifying records or something. Like, that's not even a crime. That's how that works. People make up their own estimations, and then the bank does their own due diligence to come up with what they think is the proper market value. My house, I could say, is worth $100 million, but when the bank comes out and says, nah, it's only worth $230, it doesn't mean that I'm going to be a fraudster now, and I got to have a felony on me because I was $99 million over a valuation. That's just what I think. And honestly, that's kind of how the market works too. You can set whatever price you want, and if there's a sucker out there to pay it, works for you. If Trump wanted to put Mar-a-Lago up for sale for $50 million, even though the bank thinks it's only worth $4 million, and he wants to sell it for sale by owner, and someone comes along and pays the $50 million, where's the crime in that? It's a legal transaction. This person was willing to pay the $50 million, so just because the bank thinks it's only $4 million, it's just like how diamonds are so expensive. Really, what they are, when you really think about it, a diamond is just a piece of crap. It's just carbon that has extreme amounts of pressure on it that turns it into this hard material that we shine up and we say, ooh, that's pretty. And then because there's one main company, De Beers, that gathers us all up, basically it's an oligarchy. It starts with De Beers and then it goes out to Kay and all them. But they set their prices to be super high and we're all just dumb and pay it. Okay. $4,000 for this tiny little shiny rock? Okay. Is there some kind of fraud going on there? No, that's just what they choose to set the prices as, and we're all dumb and pay it. So, this whole fraud case that he has is just ridiculous. It's a huge farce. And obviously he's going to appeal it, and hopefully either A, he gets better lawyers, B, gets more lawyers, or C, his lawyers just do a better job next time and, expose that and be like, what are you trying to charge him with? This is stupid. You're wasting everyone's time. He'll be able to get off, no problem. either by his lawyers, or B, when he wins the election, he can just pardon himself. All right, now your point number 5, which really should be point number 6, because convicted of fraud several times is point number 5. But you say the E. Carroll case and subsequent 2 times guilty defamation, 1 times guilty of sexual abuse, red rape, civil court. First off, I wish your sentences made more sense. God, this is just a string of words that mildly make sense, but you got to kind of translate. It's like if you know a foreign language and you're reading it and you're trying to translate in your head, you're getting the general idea, but you know you're missing a little. That's how I feel. Guilty of sexual abuse, red rape, civil court. The civil court at the end is throwing me off. Anyways, let's try to talk about this. So I'll be straight up. I don't really know too much about the Ejon Carroll case. That's why I don't even know how to say her name right. I didn't listen to the trial at all. Don't really know how to say it. All I do know is this. For one, as far as being found guilty of rape, he wasn't. So, I don't know. You mentioned that red rape. Well, it didn't happen. He was found not guilty of that allegation. Second, from what I also understand, Ejon Carroll was somebody who has like mental health issues, and so, of course she's going to go after Trump because he's like a main big figure right now, and she's trying to be a part of that Me Too movement and go after the biggest name that she can. Ooh, Trump. Third, I'm pretty sure she does something with like weird erotic stuff. She either writes really erotic novels, or she has an erotic podcast, or some kind of weird sexual something somewhere. So this kind of falls in her wheelhouse, that she'd be making up claims about being raped and all this. And fourth, at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure Trump, I don't know if he was exonerated of all charges or whatever, but I'm pretty sure that he was cleared of like almost everything. And originally, obviously she's taking him to court trying to get some financial compensation, and I think it backfired. Doesn't she actually owe him money now? So we're going to try to bring up the Ejon Carroll, but you got nothing here. I mean, the guy was completely cleared of everything, and she owes him money. I don't know what it's for. I don't know if it's for lawyer fees. I don't know if it's for potential defamation of his character or whatever by claiming he raped her. I don't know, but all I do know is that she owes him now. So, nice try, I guess. All right, your point number 6, but real point number 7. Republicans and Christians maintaining their right to prejudicial treatment of alphabet community. Anti-abortion. Somehow that's a whole entire sentence. Anti-abortion. Shouldn't there be a dash in between their two? Anti-abortion? Those aren't 2 words. Anti is not a word. Blacks, Hispanics, immigrants, legal or illegal? Okay, that's a question, but there's no subject, so I don't know. You got right to the right to the main noun and then went to your predicate, but there's absolutely no subject, so I don't know what you're trying to ask. But sure, we will try to talk about this. It's going to be difficult. All right, so you say prejudice towards the LGBT blah 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 community. There's not prejudice per se. What it is A, we don't like it being jammed down our throats like they try to do. You get the Trans Day of Visibility, which this year they put it on Easter, which they try to claim, it's always the same date, but Easter varies. Sometimes it's March, sometimes it's April. This year it just happened to be that Easter landed on the Trans Day of Visibility. Well, there's 7 trillion options you could do to try to avoid that. 1, you could have made the stupid Trans Day of Visibility some other day that's absolutely nowhere near Easter. Then there would be no conflict. 2, you didn't have to make the day. 3, if that situation happened, you could have just let Easter supersede it. Like, well, this is obviously more important than just a Trans Day of Visibility. You'll have to get your event canceled because Easter's a real thing that's rooted in actual, like, biblical, definitions and such, unlike Trans Day of Visibility, which is just a fake holiday that was made up when? 5 years ago? But anyways, you got whole June being destroyed with Pride Month and all this, and then, so what we don't like is, one, we don't like it being shoved down our throats, how everything's trying to be always all about gay and stuff. Why do you think Disney's failing? Disney's massively failing because everything, like South Park says, Kathleen Kennedy is, put a late woman in it, make her gay. Everything's all like that with Disney. They're just ruining their whole entire IP by doing this dumb nonsense that we don't care about. You don't have to have relationships. If you don't want to have straight relationships in your shows, movies, cartoons, whatever, then put no relationships. Just have characters. You know, Toy Story was a great hit, and there wasn't really any relationships. I mean, I guess Woody and Jesse kind of have a fling, but for the most part, it's all about camaraderie and buddies. You know, it's Buzz and Woody, best friends and stuff. Make stories like that then. You don't have to make it gay. Oh, we don't want straight relationships. We're just doing gay ones. But the other thing, the biggest thing, is we don't like it being forced onto kids. We don't like how, you know, you have these pride events going through your town, your city, whatever, and it's guys walking around with exposed chaps, let's say, to keep it fairly clean, you know, no bottoms on, and everything just hanging out back there, and then dancing around really weirdly, provocatively, suggestively. And then there's kids possibly right there. Or we don't want that in schools where the teacher's like, I'm a pansexual, non-binary, blah, 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 blah. That's not what the kids are there for. They're there to learn math, writing, reading, etc. That's what you're supposed to teach them about, not about your weird personal sex life. Also, the stupid gay, the pride flags and all of them shouldn't be in classrooms either. If you're going to have a flag, it should either be the country's flag or your state flag. If you don't want either of those, then no flag. Or you can have like a cutesy flag, like maybe it's Easter, so you got a bunny with an egg type flag. Otherwise, don't be putting your weird propaganda flags up there. Same as these books. You know, everybody's always crying about the book. Oh, they're banning bags. No, they're banning sex books from grade school because that doesn't need to be in there. They're not banned. You can still go to Barnes & Noble or Amazon or whatever and buy it. You can go to your local library and rent it. It's just not going to be in schools because having a book that explicitly shows two people getting frisky with each other is not needed in a 5th grade library. And that is something that we shouldn't have to explain. It should be common. Like, yeah, that's a bit explicit. You try to go to these websites, it says, are you 18 or older at least? But, oh, a 10-year-old can look at this book because, I don't know, I gotta cry about it if they can't. That's what the problem is. Same as trying to trans the kids. You know, they try to push, oh, you can just put them on a puberty blocker. This way then it stops the process and gives the child time to think about what they want to be. First off, there's nothing to think about. You're a boy, that's it. You're a girl, that's it. You don't think about it. You just live and it happens. Second off, puberty blockers don't work like that. You don't just take a puberty blocker and then, oh, well, I'm going to wait 4 years and come off this and everything's going to be fine. You know, it's not like that's not how it works. It doesn't just put everything on pause if you're a girl and then all of a sudden you come off and, well, I decided to be a girl, now I got huge jugs. Or, well, I decided to come off my puberty blockers, oh, I got a real deep voice. All those last 4 years just boom like this. No, it screws your whole entire body up. And that's what the right fights against. Ridiculousness like that. You know, that's what the problem is. It's not just inherently like, you know, conservatives are like, oh, we hate gay people. Yeah, they don't agree with it because a lot of conservatives also follow religion, and the religion is not pro-gay, but at the same time, you can tolerate it. You know what I mean? It's like, well, it is what it is. You know, you're gay, okay. Depending on how involved you are with religion, then you'll think, okay, you're gay, so you're going to go to hell, but it is what it is. I'm not going to be rude to you, you know? That's the other thing, too. We just don't like it when you're over the top. If you're a gay guy, you can be a gay guy and be a normal gay guy. Like, what is one of these political commentators, actually? Dang it, I can't think of his name offhand. But apparently he's gay with a husband, and I just found that out a couple of months ago, and I was like, he's gay? Would have never guessed. He doesn't give off a gay vibe at all. Versus some of them that are like, I gotta have my long nails and do my makeup and wear crop top shirts and just be overly flamboyant. Like, that's just ridiculous. Nobody needs to see that. Girls don't even act that way. So why do gay guys think they have to be way over the top like that? That's what the problem is with what we think. And then as far as blacks and all this, I don't know what the heck you're trying to talk about there. Are you talking about all the illegals that are coming in? Yeah, I hope they get booted out. They're illegal. They don't belong here. They have a country they should be in. And like Trump has said before, which everyone cries about, you know, they're not sending their best. You know, the people that are good are staying in their own country, or they're trying to come in legally. It's the lowlifes that are coming in illegally. Obviously, they're breaking the law. They're breaking international, whatever you want to call it, international law. by crossing into a country illegally. But, you know, that's the type that's coming over. So that's why we don't want them here. Like when MS-13 people try to sneak in. You really want MS-13 here? They're like pieces of crap individuals down there with what they do and what they're all about. But, you know, you can't say that because they're a human being. Yeah, they're a human that doesn't care about themselves or others at all. And they go on crazy murder sprees all the time and crime sprees. But okay, let's cry about them. So yeah, and blacks, I have no idea what you're trying to say about that. What are you trying to say? There's absolutely zero issues with black people at all when it comes to conservatives, right-wing people. I don't understand what that's saying, you know, so I can't comment on that. I don't know what you mean at all. All right, now your point number 8, fiscal responsibility. Never has a Republican government ever achieved the success of Democrats against the deficit. Not in the U.S., not in Canada, where conservatives couldn't keep a surplus handed to them by the outgoing liberal government. All right, first off, let's talk about the deficit. I am sick and tired of always hearing about the deficit. Biden loves talking about the deficit. The governor of my state has talked about the deficit recently. Deficit essentially means nothing. I don't care what's happening with the deficit. You know what I do care about? What's happening with the debt. See, what deficit means is, you know, let's take it for regular individual people's lives so you can relate to it better. So say you have a credit card that has a $5,000 limit on it. One month you go and buy yourself a new couch, $1,000 put on the credit card. Next month your washing machine dies. So you go and buy a new washer. Let's say it was $500. You got a washer dryer combo, nice good brand and all that, $500. So now you could say between, let's say the months were January and February. So now February you're like, ooh, I cut my deficit in half. But at the same time, you have $1,500 of debt. You added $500 to your debt. So who cares that you cut your deficit? You still owe your credit card company $1,500. Last month you only owed them $1,000. Now you owe them $1,500. That's not better. Who cares if you cut your deficit? The only way that matters at all is, I dropped my deficit by 100%. That means you didn't use your credit card. So you still have $1,000 debt on your card, but you didn't add to it, so there's that. So yeah, who cares if Democrats can cut the deficit? At the end of the day, they're still adding to the national debt. The national debt hasn't gone down in how long? It's just constantly going up, 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 up. And let's take this current administration, Biden's administration. The debt has been absolutely psychotic. I mean, it's to the point that we've had how many meetings now about raising the debt ceiling so the government wouldn't shut down? Because they keep just blowing money like it means nothing. And then the debt is up, 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 up. Like, oh, but you cut the deficit. Oh, well, we spent $1 trillion this month, but then next month we only did $200 billion. We cut the deficit by 80%. Yet you still spent $200 billion. Like, cool. And then let's not forget too, wasting all kinds of money to Ukraine. You know how much money we wasted to foreign countries under Trump? Basically none, because he made sure of that. But then this doofus comes in that we have now, and it's, oh, here you go, Ukraine. There you go, Ukraine, Zelensky. What do you need? There you go. Oh, man, too much talking. Yeah, probably wasted money on, I don't know, probably a whole bunch of areas too. Probably something with Israel and or Hamas. Probably wasting money somewhere down in China or Taiwan. But yeah, they're good at cutting the deficit. You know, the other thing I've noticed too, typically it seems like Republicans clean up the Democrats' mess, financially speaking. So then when the Democrats come in office, it looks good for them. And then over time, they destroy things. And then when a Republican comes in, it's destroyed, and they have to work on fixing things again. But it creates this illusion because the Democrats came in, ooh, it was great. Oh my God, it was so wonderful. And that's what you think of. And then when the Republican comes in and cleans up after the Democrat, you think, oh my God, the Republican had such a terrible financial skills. And it's like, no, actually, he had great financial skills. He had to clean up the mess the last idiot left behind. But by the time his term ended, he couldn't really show for anything for it because now, boom, this dick's back in office and ready to screw it up again. But you know, it looks great for him because he comes in and, oh, it's up here. Oh my God, Democrats. Please. Now, your last point, I don't think this really counts as a number. This is kind of just like an outro you put. It says, just saying, the numbers don't lie. That's why we leave that part to the politicians. Good luck with the election as you see it. If Trump wins, don't claim you weren't warned. All right, so a couple things. First off, you said the numbers don't lie. Well, it depends on if you look at them accurately or not, because numbers can lie. Have you ever heard of the math called statistics? Statistics is basically all about manipulating data to be the way that you want it to be. I mean, think about it this way. If you have a dice and it's six-sided, a normal dice, and you say, what's the chances that it could land on a 1? Well, normally you'd think 1 in 6. But you could also argue, no, you have a 5 in 6 chance of it landing on 1. Because maybe you want the 2, but it could land on the 1. Maybe you want 3, but it lands on 1. Maybe you want 4, but it lands on 1. Each one of those has the same chance of it being 1 instead of that number that you want. So now they put that out there. Oh, well, so-and-so says there's a 5 in 6 chance of this. And then now you hear that number and you think, well, the numbers don't lie. But there's a context that you're missing. So numbers can lie, depending on if they're manipulated and all this, how they're worked. Kind of like Biden with his nonsense with job recovery. Oh, or not job recovery, jobs created. I created 15 million jobs. Okay. But when you really dig into that and find out what that is, it's, how many is it? I don't know how many is recovered from COVID. 9 million or 5 million, something like that. I don't know off the top of my head. But first off, that's a huge percentage right there that are just recovered. People just went back to work from COVID. So you didn't create a job, dickhead. It already existed, and it was just temporarily vacated because of governmental mandates. Now the mandate's lifted, so Guy X went back to job. A job wasn't created for him. It was his job. He just went back to it. So that's one thing where the number is lying. Second thing is I hear a lot of the jobs that have been created are part-time and or temporary. Well, nobody wants a part-time or temporary job. You know, a job created means full-time with benefits, good pay, etc. Now, oh, well, there's been more job openings at McDonald's recently. Like, okay, I mean, technically it's a job, but it ain't the type of job to be trying to brag about. Also, you know what I've really heard too? I don't know if this is a conspiracy theory or if this is reality, but I've heard that a lot of job postings, just to try to boost Biden's job creation numbers, I hear that they're actually fake. So meaning there's ads that are out on like Indeed and all this, but if you try to apply to it, no one ever gets back to you because it's not a real position. It's just something out there to look like, oh, look, job opportunity, there's an opening, when there's really not. The company might not even be real. It's just completely fake, just so that then they can add to the numbers. So again, numbers don't lie? Well, it depends. I mean, if you have somebody honest telling you, like when I tell you 1 + 1 = 2, then yeah, it's not a lie. But if you have a idiot that wants to push an agenda and they say, you know what, we just discovered 1 + 1 = 3, then the number's lying. And then the last bit, I don't remember what you said in the middle, but your last part, you said, don't be surprised or whatever when if Trump wins, you've been warned. Been warned about what? He's already been president, for one, and all of us that support him liked him as president. That's why we still support him. So what are you trying to warn us about? Oh no, he's going to come in and be just as good as he was then? Oh, we're going to have 2016 again? Oh no, that sounds so bad. I don't know what you're trying to warn us about. You mean we're going to have energy independence? Oh no, we're going to be respected on a global level again? Oh, we're not going to be in any new wars? Oh man, that sounds terrible. Oh, is the dollar going to gain some power again? Is inflation going to go down? Is paying my bills going to be easier? Is buying groceries going to get cheaper? Oh, man, that sounds so bad. I don't understand what the you've been warned is. You know, the real threat is if Biden wins again. Because this guy's been a massive failure. And we can't have 4 more years of this. We just can't. We literally won't be a country anymore if he wins again. So... And just like this meme I see on Twitter, X, all the time, it shows Trump and it shows Biden, and it says peace and prosperity or war and poverty. Yeah, I don't want war and poverty. I'll take the peace and prosperity. So yeah, I don't know what I got to be warned about, but I'm looking forward to the, the election in November. Hopefully it's Trump. I've never voted before in my life, ever, not even for local government, but I definitely will be voting for him. I know I'm only one vote, and it probably doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. That's what I've always thought, but you know what? It's still an extra vote for him. So yeah, anyways, there it is. I debated you. I answered all your questions or whatever they were, statements. And yeah, if you watch this and you have anything else to say, go for it. Add another comment and I'll do another response video. I mean, this is a lot of work, but at the same time, it's kind of fun. So bring it on, I guess. And with that, again, I say thanks for checking this out. Until next time, I said see ya.